is sitting here this time, ready to go.
Like every time I come on, you niggas is running around,
We ain't wearing nothing around.
balls, ironing your shirt. Now you waiting for me.
Ironing your shirt. Nobody irons their shirts around here. You know that.
All right, we laugh. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste
What a foretaste.
of glory divine.
Come on, air of salvation.
Hope. What is it? Hope of divine? It's not hope of the light. What is it?
No. Purchase of God.
There we go.
Lord have
Born
mercy,
in
Jesus.
spirit. Boston is left.
Washed in his. There you go.
Rundown tonight. We're talking Harry and Meg's, the new Duke and Duchess of Sussex. More royalty with King Kendrick. Nicki Minaj's new album is called Queen. So that's another piece of royalty there with Chun-Li, Queen Chun-Li. Lando, aka Donald Glover, and of course rap royalty, the notorious B.I.G. This episode's called Royalty, Royalty, Royalty. You like that?
I do. I don't understand where we get Lando and Donald Glover, but okay.
Donald plays Lando in the new Han Solo movie. Keep up.
Oh, yes, he does. I'm like, what?
Welcome to another edition of Bro Talk Live, the best show on the internet for you by us. BroTalkLive.com, always on the mark. My name is Jason. Good day to you guys. We haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, but we're back. The boys are back in town. Let's kick it to my main man, Dex. What up, bro?
Hey guys, Dexter Stuckey here. I'm super excited to be here. I just wanted to give a really quick shout out to the class of 2018. Like, I've just noticed like this season on social media, and not just because I'm a part of the class, but just in general, like I've noticed so much like positive energy from this graduating class. I mean, like people like from all walks of life are like graduating, and I saw like yesterday, which is kind of what triggered me to say this. I saw that Kamora Simmons graduated this year with her master's, and like for me, it's just like nothing stops education. Education is so beautiful, and it's like so many people are going back to school. And like for me, I graduated in 2011 with my undergrad, and I just finished, in my master's in 2018. And it only took me 2 years, but still, like the progression is just truly a beautiful thing, and I'm just so happy to see everybody that's out there doing it. So like, keep it up, keep up the good work. And if you're thinking about going back to school, find somebody to pay for it and get back in there.
All right, Tyler God, pro education.
Listen, that was key
statement there. So Tyler God, you want to harp on any of that? You know how much you love degrees and certificates and sort.
I guess I'm very proud of everybody from 2018 who decided to pursue education.
Did you pick up anything? Like, is this like a year that you pick up a degree or something like that, or is that like next year?
Unfortunately, I have to touch down in 2019.
Yeah, of course.
For the next a degree, but I am very proud of the people who got finished. Listen, the process is no joke. Dexter, throughout the process, stayed funny and worked hard, and now he is going to be reaping everything that he sowed. So we're awesome. We're very proud of you, Dex.
Thank you.
Amen.
This isn't about me, though. It's about the class.
Bill, how are you, sir?
Personally,
I am well. I also wanted to shout out the class of 2018, specifically Dex. Like I look up and down my timeline, people are like getting doctorates and Juris Doctorates, and they're getting these PhDs and masters, and like it is an amazing thing. Dex, congratulations. Also on the good news train, I won a primary election last week, so I am officially a member of the Democratic Executive Committee for the city of Philadelphia. So I'm a politician now, so like hire me to speak.
so can you give us a job description? Like what will you be doing?
Sitting around looking dumb, collecting a check.
Don't let him downgrade don't do that. Don't let him downgrade your accomplishment. Joking. You better big yourself up, and you better like.
I'm very happy for you. I just want to know what you're doing. Seriously.
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know. It was an open position. I ran for it and I won. So there's that.
Oh, I guess they'll be telling
I'm a politician now. That's all that matters.
So when do you report to work? You have to report somewhere?
Well, so the first meeting is June the 4th. So we'll have the Democratic Executive Board will have its meeting June 4th. And so then I guess I'll be getting duties and all that.
You probably going to be passing out waters to everybody. That's going to be your job.
I can tell you what I won't be doing. Won't be passing out waters.
Nigga, anti-Trump signs.
To the Republicans.
No, ma'am. I actually didn't run as a Republican.
I think I'm an intern, apply to intern for Maxine Waters. I feel like that's an important step.
What a waste of time.
Talking about reaping the rewards of education. How important was the royal wedding for blacks? And I know it's worded funny, but it was specifically worded this way because it's not just African Americans, because the royal wedding didn't happen in America. So Meghan Markle, is that her last name?
Jason, don't act stupid. You know what that girl's last name is.
Jason always pretend like he don't know somebody.
What's Harry's last name?
Styles.
Windsor, isn't it?
Styles.
Dead. No, I think his last name is Windsor.
That's weird. I don't know his last name. That's funny. Well, I'm like, oh, you know his last name, Jason. It's I really don't know.
Like, what is the royal family's like last name? No one knows.
I know that Queen Elizabeth is out of the House of Windsor. They would have taken Prince Philip's last name, which is Mountbatten, but he had such an ugly last name that Elizabeth didn't take it.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Because he was
whatever
the Prince
their
of
last
Greece,
name is.
So.
She's now the Duchess of Sussex, as I said earlier. But everyone is not really feeling the love for the accomplishments of the new Duchess. The royal wedding is over, says a CNN headline. Now we can admit that it was never a vehicle for meaningful racial progress. The article goes on to say, with debates about colorism that are always close to the surface for black communities, we cannot ignore that Markle is not a dark-skinned, afro-haired, flat-nosed black woman. She represents the image of blackness we've been sold as acceptable and marketable. It is fair to question whether her reception by the media and royal family would have been different had this been otherwise. The best hope is that as time wears on, the nation forgets about Markle's blackness and she blends in, effectively passing for white. We have, after all, already been told that she's just like Harry's mother and that she looks like Pippa Middleton. The worst case scenario is that Markle comes to represent a symbol for racial progress in Britain. There's perhaps no worse way to measure racial progress than on the presence of interracial relationships. And they went on in this article to say the glow of pride that you may feel from watching the wedding is not going to put money in your pocket or protect you or your family from the police. But the collective hysteria may well convince society that we can continue to ignore that racism that is at the root of British society. So now that the wedding is over, it will not be long until we all realize that it was never a vehicle for racial progress, but just a pumpkin masquerading as hope. So that is an opinion of one side of the coin. Another side of the coin was represented by cousin Jeff Johnson that's what's the name of their show that they have on BET that's just like Bro Talk?
I don't know.
Okay. But he said this on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. I thought, talking about the royal wedding, I thought the symbolism was crazy. Y'all remember how Whitney Houston's funeral introduced African-American culture to a country that often didn't pay attention to African-American culture? I think this wedding introduced diasporatic culture to a society and a world that still tries to pretend that we aren't human. In the midst of all this brutality of black women in the world, you've got the most unlikely story happening when the place that has been a representation of so much of our brutality, their prince chooses our sister. No, that doesn't mean a lot of stuff is going to change, but it is symbolic. I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but I'm saying don't minimize the message that comes from it. So guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important of a statement was the royal wedding? Dex?
Okay, Dex.
Well, I mean, for me, like nothing. Like, I mean, at the time, like I didn't watch it, and I didn't like think much of it. Like, I mean, it's not really something like for me. But
was it 6 o'clock your time, a.m.?
I think so. It was like really early in the morning. I mean, I know
4 a.m.
I know by the time like she came out, it was like regular time. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. By the time she had like walked out, I think that's what it was, because I saw people posting her around that time. So like for me, it was no big deal. Like not really. But then after seeing like so many like Americans being invited to the wedding, like the celebrities that were there, like Serena Williams, African American celebrities too, and like the cast of Suits and George Clooney and the mall. Like after seeing that, and then hearing like the preacher, and then seeing like
Oprah.
And Oprah, yeah, and Idris Elba as well, and like seeing the preacher and seeing like the choir, and it's like, wow, like this is kind of cool, because this really is blending like our culture and us, like, and not only just as Black people but as Americans with like the British royal family, and that's something that doesn't happen often. And I think it's kind of cool as an American to have a reason to kind of look forward to it. Because before, like, I think we would watch this stuff because we don't have it, but like, being as though you're kind of like a part of it, it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, and we learn more from it too. Like, they learn about our culture and we're learning about theirs too. So I do think it's pretty important. Like,
I feel like we've always been force-fed British culture. I don't think us not knowing.
I don't think so. I think we like kind of like seek it a little bit because it's something different than what we have. Like, I don't think people, and I don't think it's forced on us. I really don't, because like for me, I had the option, you know, to watch it or not watch it.
So. Okay. Bill, what do you think? How symbolic was the royal wedding to you?
It was more interesting to me than symbolic, I think, because so Princess Meghan she's not the first mixed race monarch to
she's also not a princess.
I mean, well, I think she'll be styled Princess Meghan because her husband is a prince.
Well,
but
they said
she's not. I mean, you know, we'll see. But I think because she's not the first, I mean, she's not a monarch, but she's not the first mixed race to be a Brit. Like, there have been mixed race monarchs that have ruled Great Britain and that have actually, like, sat on the throne in England. So it was more interesting to me because it was a sign of change in England for me to watch the Queen sort of accept and allow, because everything goes through the Queen at the end of the day, like the wedding, the details, and the fact that they had the first African-American.
She picks out the DJ. What?
Well, no, she has to okay she literally has to okay every detail. So for the fact that they had Bishop Michael Curry, who was the first African-American presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, like that's just, it's like a sign that, like, I mean, even though they've already
accept
known
this, like I don't understand what is a sign of?
I don't see. No, not that they accept us, because they've always accepted us. If they didn't accept us, they wouldn't still be. There still wouldn't be 53 African. Like, there are 53 countries that are Commonwealth countries. The majority of them are African countries, and the United Kingdom has conquered most of the African countries, which means they've always accepted us because they've always wanted us.
Or Jason, what do you think?
I mean, I think it was.
Woke.
I don't understand the symbolism that Jeff's talking about here. I don't think that it really matters for me that, you know, saying two people got married. You know, saying if they wanted to make a statement, they could make the statement. But like Jeff said, it's not going to change anything. Okay. You know, Meghan Markle is now part of the royal family, but Harry's never getting to the throne. So, you know what I'm saying? She's not going to ascend to queen. You know, like, it has to be a complete massacre of the royal family for Harry to become king. So I don't think that's going to happen. And I mean, it's good for them. I'm happy for her. I don't really know anything about her. But Ty, how do you feel about her being light, you know, so light and so fair and so, you know, saying passing for white, quote unquote, you know, and being the black representation while passing, quote unquote? Because I don't think she's passing. She's never said that she's not black. She's always owned it. Like, it's not like she's been hiding or anything like that.
I honestly, I think she has a right to claim blackness, and the fact that she's accepted has nothing to, I mean, it has a lot to do with that, I'm sure, but that's not necessarily her fault. But I mean, this is one of those things where people get all excited because they think that racial barriers are being torn down. And for every racial barrier moment that's being torn down, there are 1,000 more to show that it's being built right back up. So it was like when former President Barack Obama came into office, like, everyone thought that life would change, and it didn't. It was pretty much the same, more of the same. And so the only thing that's really going to change anything is our consistent effort toward calling things out that are inappropriate and fighting for our right and the rights of other people, and sticking together to make sure that when things happen to one person, we consider that it happens to all of us, and we continue to call these things out as unacceptable. So someone getting married is not going to stop that. And even someone becoming, even a black person becoming president is not going to stop that, because there's no one person or one family that can give us the progress that we need. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for anybody.
Oh my God, we're still talking about this.
I'm not that excited about it. It just is what it is.
All right. Well, we wish them the best of
Before we
luck in the
move,
future, even though
No,
we don't
please,
know their
before
last
we
name.
well,
please,
no, just listen. No, we're moving, but his name, by the way, is Henry Charles Albert David. Gag.
You
Like,
just got a bunch of
what kind
first
of
names.
name is that?
If you guys want to know his full name, we posted it on the Bro Talk Live Twitter page, which is Bro Talk Live. Make sure you follow that page as well. Jason?
Was this all Kendrick's fault? Kendrick Lamar was at a concert. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. He's doing a concert with all of the people from TDE. I think it's called the Champions Tour or something like that. Features SZA and all them people. Well, while he was doing his set, he invited a white fan named Delaney on stage. This happened on Sunday. The two were rapping to his song "Mad City." Man down. Where you from? Yeah. But Delaney failed to self-censor herself, and Delaney said the full lyrics, which included the N-word. After she said it more than once, Kendrick cut her off and addressed the issue, although Delaney seemed confused as to what the issue was. So Kendrick basically interrupted her saying, wait. And then Kendrick said, you gotta bleep one single word. Because she basically said, am I not cool or something like that? He said, you gotta bleep one single word. So she realized what she said. She said, oh, I'm sorry. Did I do it? I'm so sorry. Oh, my God. And she laughed it off. So Kendrick said, yeah, you did it. And so Kendrick asked the crowd, should she stay up here, y'all? And the concert goers yelled, no. She ended up still, I guess, performing the rest of the song. Kendrick let her stay up there, and then they escorted her back down because they said that she was not rapping on beat. So that was the reason they actually removed her. So guys, was all this Kendrick's fault? And should how should that girl feel, I guess, being put on blast in front of everybody? What you think?
I think that is Kendrick's fault.
You think it was Kendrick's fault?
Yeah, why'd he call her up there, all people?
Well, he did that with someone else beforehand, and the guy actually self-censored himself.
Regardless of him calling her up there, it is his fault because he has the word in his song. Like, you're to blame for this. If you don't want people to rap a certain lyric, don't put the lyric in the song.
I mean, I was always kind of irritated by that. I remember this show from years ago where a white person in the show, I think it was Girlfriends actually, had rapped the lyric with the N-word, and like everyone made this big deal out of it. Oh, you'll never understand the hurt and the pain of that word. And I get it, I really do. But I also feel like I don't know, I just feel kind of silly like putting it in this lyric and then being mad if somebody repeats the lyric. Like I just wouldn't put it in there. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of, I'm supposed to be outraged, but I really can't because the idea is a little bit silly.
Bill, some people were saying that, as with other art, if you see a painting of a lynching, you wouldn't go lynch somebody. How do you feel about that comparison as it regards to Kendrick Lamar's N-word fiasco here?
The correlation.
It's right. I'm about to say this is clearly not the same thing. That's like saying, like, oh, I'm allergic to mosquitoes, so I stay away from bees. What?
No, that's just like saying that's a
dumb.
person who is in another like sector in life, like a woman or a gay man or a gay woman or something like that, and they say something that's derogatory towards them, and then you get up there and you say the same thing. It's kind of like, well, you made this okay for me to say it because you said it and you put it in a lyric.
There's certain things. I mean, we always go. We've had this argument, I think, at least once a year. You've
had this argument. I say what I say, and I don't argue about it.
I said
whatever it is. We have this discussion. Since you want to get your panties in a bunch, we've had this discussion every year for the past 5 years, at least once a year, and it always comes down to, okay, we think half of us think that one group of people can say the N-word and other group can't. Who thinks that? But if you're appreciating art, you have to mimic that art. Okay,
so if you're appreciating the art and you're mimicking the art, and he says the N-word in the art, then it's okay for them to say it.
Do you have to mimic the art though to appreciate it? Do you have to mimic it?
Do you have to say it? If you put it out there, you have to be okay with other people saying it. That's like people who give their children nicknames. If you give your child nickname Monkey and another person calls your child a monkey, you have to be okay with it because you put it out there.
So do you guys remember when we were in like 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, whatever grade that was, and The Boy Is Mine came out and everybody was singing it because it was super popular? People would change the lyric because they weren't of that gender. So I don't know, maybe that's another perspective. Like people change lyrics to suit themselves, so they exclude certain things. I mean, they don't sing the original songs that doesn't suit them. Like if you're singing a song you like, but it's by a female artist, you sometimes will switch out her for him because it suits you better. So in that sense, I guess you could say, you could just leave that word out.
So like, would she use a term that's offensive to white women? Like I don't get.
It's offensive when a white person says it, and she knows that. Like she understands.
But based on what Todd just said,
why are we playing coy about this? We understand that black people do not want white people to say the N-word to them.
Well, that part is stupid. We're not playing coy. We're just saying that that's stupid. But based on what Todd just said, like
you're saying that it's stupid.
I do understand that when you're a man, you're not going to say certain words that don't make sense for you. Like you're not going to do that.
But it doesn't make sense for her to say. She doesn't have any niggas. Like why would she?
Why doesn't that make sense for her?
Any? So if you say "F where you from, my nigga," she doesn't have any niggas. So why would that be appropriate for her to say?
I don't understand. You came up with it. Like what is it? What is that? You just what is an N-word? What is it?
What word should she have?
It is a friend who is black and a compadre who you can mutually identify with the black experience. And how she cannot do that?
Who made up that? Wait, that's your definition, right? Like that is not.
I love that definition.
It's a great definition. It's a great definition.
Urban Dictionary.
You made up.
It fits what it's designed to do for black people. That's what it is. I didn't make it up. It makes sense. That's what it is. Ty, am I right?
It makes sense for you.
Yeah, I love the definition.
The definition was great. Thanks. Moving on. We'll have that argument again probably later this year. It's Chun-Li talking about race, cultural appropriation. Nicki Minaj performed her new single Chun-Li on SNL, and she decided to go for full Harajuku Barbie, as she used to be called. And the Asian American Legal Twitter account said, knew this was coming, but Nicki Minaj on SNL should stop appropriating Asian culture and skip the Orientalism. But everyone wasn't really on that train. Some people had some stuff to say. People pointing out that Nicki Minaj is of Jamaican and Japanese descent because her grandfather is part Japanese or something like that. Texas laughing.
Okay.
I need an ancestry.com.
But we do have a statement from an actual Asian person. And they said, so for those who are debating whether or not Nicki Minaj is engaging in cultural appropriation with her Chun-Li single / SNL performance, I have some thoughts speaking as a Chinese American woman. Anyone who has seen Comic-Con been to a Comic-Con will tell you the people who dress up as Chun-Li are not limited to Asian women. People of all races and genders identify with her. I don't also believe that I should be limited to identifying only with Asian female characters. Should Nicki Minaj be limited to only dressing as Storm or Nakia or Okoye? Why should race be used to limit people's identification with fictional characters? Because if that's true, honestly, at Halloween, that would have seriously limited my options. Why should Nicki Minaj want to portray herself as one of the best known early examples of a female fighter, the kind of woman who holds her own in any street fight? The creation of the character as Asian with all the iconography that entails was decades ago. Here we go. Like African Americans, Chinese were discriminated against, especially in California. In some cases, they were lynched by angry mobs. Over time, Chinese Americans and Asians generally became embraced as the model minority, and today we do not experience nearly the same kind of discrimination that African Americans do, but we shouldn't forget that it lurks under the surface. So I do not read Nicki Minaj's portrayal of Chun-Li as appropriation, but as an embrace of a strong female character, both transcendent of race, but also as a nod to the long cultural connections between the African American and Asian communities. And she also brought up the fact that Wu-Tang, no one had nothing to say when Wu-Tang was doing it back in the 90s and such. So guys, is Nicki Minaj culturally appropriating, or does it not matter because she is of Jamaican and Japanese descent?
I mean, I'm gonna say that she was. I think when you get up and you put on other people's like traditional garbs and stuff, like that's cultural appropriation. And that's what you did.
But if she's part of that tradition.
And not only that you do it, but you did it to do it like a performance. So it's not even like, I mean, I get, maybe if it was like a photo shoot or something like that, I probably wouldn't be as like, oh, I don't know. But it's like a gimmick. You did it as a gimmick, and like for me, I think that's problematic.
Bill, what about the Barbie?
I don't even care about that. I want to address this like African Americans.
I knew that was going to get you. I knew that was
you
going to
knew it was coming. Can I see receipts of these Asian Americans that were?
They did have receipts in the thread.
America?
I'll forward them to you. So they do have receipts.
Yeah,
There are.
I need receipts because Yeah, okay.
They wouldn't just claim that it happened. Like it's kind of something random to claim.
It happened.
Okay.
People, everyone was lynched except one race.
No, the ones that was doing the lynchings. Can't lynch the lynches.
Who wasn't lynched? That's it.
How do you feel about Chung-Li, Ty?
Honestly, I honestly let culture speak for themselves. So they feel appropriated, and then some of them don't. They can argue it out as that I see them doing, and I'm going to stay out of it because I'm not.
I think that's safe. All right, moving on. Is this ever okay? We want to hit this one quick.
No,
Dex, your girl Tammy Lauren was at a restaurant and someone threw water on her.
That's not okay.
What'd you say?
In what way would that be okay?
First of all, her name is Tommy Lauren.
So they threw water on her, and she came over. Her mom like snatched the girl's cup or whatever like that because that's her mom in that little
Didn't whoop the ass.
Maroon blouse. But yeah, someone threw a glass of water, and basically when the mom came over and asked him about the woman who threw it on her, who was white, basically just kept saying F Tommy, F Tammy, whatever her name is. But a witness to the situation, Devin Madison, told People magazine that his friend was serving Tammy and her mother at the restaurant, and that, quote, my friend told me that she was extremely rude and had a big attitude. Then after the drink was thrown, literally the entire restaurant started cheering. So guys, is this ever okay, I guess, to throw no, Ty?
No, it's still not okay. Like, how would that still be? Like, if you're rude at if somebody's rude at a restaurant, kindly tell them that that you're not going to serve them here, and then ask them to leave. You don't throw water on them or anything on them.
Wait, Ty,
I would say that's
you don't have your friend throw water on them. Like you mean to tell me you were sitting at a restaurant and then your friend who was a waiter came over to you and was like, oh, that person was rude, so you decided to throw water on them? Like, I hate when people offer explanations that are stupid, and that is a stupid explanation. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No. So the witness, he was just a witness. He didn't throw the water. He didn't have anything to do with the person throwing the water. He was just saying that while she was there, she was rude. So it's like he's not really connected, but you know what I'm saying. He didn't do anything.
I mean, somewhat if she was rude, right?
Two things about this aren't okay. One, it's not okay because you did it, period. Like, that's not cool. And secondly, you did it for attention, because if you really just wanted to throw water on the girl, you wouldn't have recorded it and posted it.
Yeah, the
right. You know, he was sitting at the table like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Jason, what do you think about it?
I feel like if there wasn't video, we wouldn't have never said this was corny. I feel like if we just would have heard reports that someone threw water, like if it was like an urban legend or something like that, it would have been way cooler. But yeah, since you recorded it, kind of makes it corny.
You think it's cool though? Like how do you feel about it?
I don't really care because I don't care about that.
You don't care this one threw water on her. You don't care that. But do you think it was rude? Like you said, is it ever okay? Well, there was a question proposed. So is it ever okay?
I don't think it's okay, but I don't really care that it was rude. You know,
I mean, I'm not outraged or anything.
Yeah, I'm not mad that it happened.
Certainly not outraged.
I'm not mad that it happened.
It was a stupid thing to do. Like, if you don't like my opinion, you're gonna throw water on me. I don't want that to be an acceptable standard anywhere.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not upset that it happened to her because she definitely deserved it. But it's sad that she got embarrassed in public because it's definitely rude. Is this a double standard? Back to Megan. This is America. We haven't talked about this video. It came out last week while we were on our little sabbatical. And a lot of people were upset because they found out that Donald Glover has a white girlfriend.
Stop it right there. Please stop. Because those are the same people rejoicing about this royal wedding. Please
exactly.
Stop.
And that's where we're getting to. So someone said, I didn't realize Donald Glover had a white spouse, but we love Atlanta and this is America. You educated Negroes or something else. Someone else said, you can't talk black and sleep white. That's not.
What the hell does that even mean?
You can't talk black and sleep white. Sisters, if you're mad at Donald Glover but happy for Meghan Markle, you're a hypocrite. Someone else said, so first black women bashed Donald Glover having a white wife and speaking about the problems in This Is America, but now they're yes, bitch, yes mode for Meghan Markle marrying the prince. What happened to equality and love and race? So, guys, how do you feel about it? Is it a double standard? Because one other tweet that I want to get to right before I get to you guys' opinion, it says, "Dude posted on my timeline some stuff about black women mad at Donald Glover with a white woman, calling it hypocrisy. But black women are rarely celebrated, rarely protected, and rarely deemed beautiful. Learn the value of context." How do you guys feel about the argument that because black women are rarely celebrated, rarely protected, and rarely deemed beautiful, Meghan Markle should be celebrated while Donald Glover should be excoriated?
But I don't agree with that. But also, like, I think that original post that you mentioned, like the comparison, I think that's way off. I don't think that's a fair comparison. Personally, I don't have an issue with any of it. But I think the issue with is it Donald Glover?
Yeah.
But the Donald Glover stuff, the issue with it is because he advocates for black people and then he dates a white lady or married to a white lady or whatever. And then with Meghan, like, she doesn't like advocate for black people and think that. She just so happens to be black and date a white man. So I don't think the situations are the same at all.
Well, I have an unpopular opinion alert. Sometimes because if you're advocating for black people, because you're black yourself, like, doesn't mean that you necessarily have to date a black woman to love black people because you are black.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I don't
think that.
I'm advocating for black people because I'm black, not because I'm going to necessarily fall in love with another black person. Like, I'm black and I want black people to be treated fairly because I'm black. Like,
people just forget the part that he's black in this whole thing.
Yeah, like
Jason.
What?
Like, that's definitely an unpopular opinion because, like, all of it down my timeline and all of it down Facebook, people are like, I don't understand how he's talking about this and he's dating a white woman.
Well,
like,
I mean,
it's just y'all just mad because he didn't want to date y'all. Like,
well,
y'all are undateable.
But the thing is, though, like with that same opinion, though, there are a lot of black men, and I think this is the reason why this is a topic, because there are a lot of black men who are black, obviously, and they date these white women, and then they have the OJ effect where they don't think that they're black. Like, they don't realize.
Well, that's Tay Diggs, but that's, you know what I'm saying, that's specific to OJ and Tay Diggs.
And who was checking for Tay Diggs?
But I'm just saying, though, like, I think because, like, really that's where this started from. Like, really with like Tay Diggs and stuff like this back in the 90s is really when this whole thing started, and it just trickled down to us, just like everything else that they messed up back then just continues to trickle down to us, and we just don't know how to handle it properly, so we argue about it. But really, I think we're totally different than how those people were, OJs and Tay Diggs and all those people like that. We really can be a black man and date a white woman and still know that we're black. Yeah, I just don't think they had the option back then. They couldn't do it without bashing black women. Like, it wasn't possible for them.
All right, Ty, anything else to say?
I know people who really do care. It's difficult. I don't know. It is a fine line. Like, but I don't think that there's an issue with dating outside of your race. I really don't. Like, because are you going to pass up? Like, you have to think about actual people now. We're not talking about races and things. We're talking about actual people. So you're going to have to pass up on an actual person that you have a connection with and you like because that person is not in your race. Does that really make sense?
That's racist. About it? If anything's racist,
gonna crucify you, Ty. They're going to crucify you.
That's racist. Like, seriously, that is racist.
Black woman, so you can't crucify me. On either side, but I just don't.
Them people are gonna let you have it.
But is that not racist? Like, if you're simply not dating someone because of their color of their skin, is that not racist? Like, I feel like that's racist.
I think
that's the only reason. If everything else you like about them is fine, if that's the only reason, is that not racist?
No, I think it's preference.
It's like, preference, but it's a racist preference.
I don't think so. I have a preference for darker skin. I don't have anything against white skin. It just ain't for me.
It's the same thing. Like, I have the same problem with like light skin, dark skin, because people do the same thing to black men who date black women that are fair skin, I guess, light skin. Like, they're like, oh, I'm my whole life, everyone knows I'm team dark skin. I love dark skin, blah, 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 yada, yada. Because I'm dark skin.
No, that's preference. Like, that's preference. But what you said earlier about, like, everything is fine, like, you love everything else about the person, but you won't date them because of their race. Like, I don't think that's preference. That's, you don't want to date them because of their race because you don't want to date a black person.
To even say, like, it's problematic. I think that if someone decides,
like, there's a difference between attraction and
because you still have sisters, you still have mothers, you still have family members. It doesn't mean that you can't advocate and love Black women just because your spouse particularly isn't Black. I mean, that's on you. Do your thing. If it works for you, it works for you.
All right. Let's move quickly. We're just going to do one racist segment today. We haven't talked about this yet, guys. This definitely would have made the racist segment if we were on last week, but didn't because we weren't on. But the Oakland barbecue lady who called the police on a bunch of Black people who were just trying to barbecue in the park, mind their own business. So it was between her and this guy, Aaron Schlossenberg, the
Definitely
New York
racist.
lawyer, who decided to go to what is it called? Fresh. What's that damn store called? Fresh Mart or something like that, where you get organic stuff, and cuss out a bunch of Latino Americans because they decided to speak Spanish. They dared speak Spanish in his presence. So he said he's going to call ICE and get them deported. Guys, who was worse? Like, who's the bigger racist?
He better speak more Spanish than that guy does. Seriously?
For the record, Schlossberg has apologized. He hasn't apologized. He did say that it's not what you saw in the video is not who he is. There's reports coming out from people that used to clean his house and stuff like that, said that he was on cocaine and drugs and all this other stuff. But he's basically come out and said that he's not racist and that this video does not encapsulate who he is.
It's interesting.
The woman who called the people for the cops on the barbecuing people, she's actually a professor at Stanford University. For now, and they are working on, I guess, her contract for next year. So there's that.
Very much racist.
Bigger racist. Who you got?
No such thing. Racist together.
You know what's weird though? I do think this speaks to the narrative. I don't know about this woman, but I know with the guy, he is a Donald Trump supporter, and it speaks to the narrative that people always try to put out. They go, "Oh, Trump supporters are so uneducated." This man's a lawyer. This woman's a professor. Like, Trump supporters are not uneducated; they're just racist. And I think we need to stop giving them this pass and saying that, oh, it's all these uneducated people, because it's not just them. It's people that are up in high positions and they have powerful positions. I can't say who's more racist. They're both pieces of shit if you ask me. But overall, I just want to say we need to stop just saying all Trump supporters are uneducated. They're just racist.
That's a good take, Dex. I like that.
I do love that they killed her on every social media platform though. I hope that she's mortified.
No, she's like, oh my God. She's probably more upset that she clicks on her meme or whatever, and she sees all these Black references that she doesn't understand. That's what she's pissed about.
Early candidate for meme of the year, undoubtedly.
Listen, she'll definitely be pissed when y'all start calling Stanford and she ain't got no job next year.
Unless she has tenure. Then it's gonna be a little tricky.
She has tenure. But they can put her at the really, really late classes that no one likes.
11:15 p.m.
If the school doesn't want you, they'll make you want to quit. Trust me.
But one more thing I do want to say though, not necessarily about her because she's disgusting looking, but with that guy, if we keep talking about him, I guarantee you he's going to end up on Fox News. He's going to have a show on Fox News. So I just want to do away with him. We can keep talking about her because
no one put her on.
They're not picking you up nowhere. But with them, we got to be careful because I can see them doing that.
All right, I'm not going to go too deep into this next story. I just want to let you guys know that the Starbucks employees are pissed over this bathroom thing because they said that there's a bunch of homeless people and junkies in there, and they're finding needles and drug baggies and blood all over the toilet walls because now everyone has access to the bathroom. So,
just thought that went through.
So there's that. All right, time for Q&A. Ty, you want to take it away?
It's time for Q&A. This is the part of the show where we get to help our people, and we do love doing it as well because, it's great to help people. So here we go, our topics. Topic number 1, lying-ass bosses. Topic number 2, West Coastin'. Topic number 3, 99 and 1.5. What?
99 and a half won't do. You don't know the guy.
You don't go to church.
You don't go to church. You don't go to church.
No, 2 Corinthians. And topic number 4, hall passes.
I say all of them except for 2 are probably good. Number 2 is kind of.
What is
No
hot
offense to number 2, but it's an easy question. Like, do what you want. Basically, the question for number 2 was, should I move to the West Coast because I'm trying to date this girl?
Have fun.
Yeah, girl, go.
With 3 and 4, I don't understand. I don't know what a hall pass is, and then I don't know what 99.5 won't do. I don't know what those 2 are.
Right, let's do those 2.
Oh well, I mean,
Tal, what you want to do first? Which one?
Don't neither one of y'all go to church?
Which one, Tal? What?
We can do 99 have to do.
All right, here we go. 99 and that 99. I don't have won't do.
Come on.
I've actually never heard that song.
me
See, he
neither.
don't go to church.
Psychologist. I am a psychologist. But I value your opinion, so I hope you can help me. My 4-year-old godson looks 99% black, but he is actually 50% white.
Hold up.
Dante.
Why would they say that? 99% black.
First off, I love how they started off. I know you guys are not psychologists. You don't know what my degree is.
Hello.
For that matter. Biology, where was I? I'm sorry. Biological father is in prison and has not been in the picture. We doubt he will ever be interested in his son. This boy is being raised in an all-black environment, and I worry that what will happen when he is older and starts asking questions about his father and his race. He also has several relatives who live in our town, and a few of them have been by to see him. Once he starts school, I believe he will find out the truth about his birth.
The truth. Hold on, why they act like he was born on like Mars or something like that?
Should he start explaining his mixed heritage now or wait until he is older? How do we approach the topic of his jailbird father?
Damn.
I worry about his emotional health. How he feels we have deceived him. Please give me some advice.
First of all, I
don't have kids yet, but I always think that it's good to start explaining who kids are as they raise them with the ideas of who they are. I don't see why that's a problem. I don't think there's an age where you should start doing that.
Yeah, but how are you raising them to who they are if you're not that?
What you do? Just put posters of Christopher Columbus up on the wall? Like, what are we going to do? But like, if you on one side and Christopher Columbus and Hitler on the other side, like, what are we doing?
Like, how are you black teaching somebody how to be white, or what it means to be white?
What does that even mean? Like, what do you like? You can't even if you could teach them what it's like to be white, they wouldn't be able to reap the benefits because they look 99% black. So. I mean,
and
you
what
can
is
try
this
to
99%? Like, what does that even mean?
They're
you
probably
can try to reach your dollars all and say that you're white, but no one's going to believe you, sis. So you might as well just chalk up. You black.
I will say
you're definitely going to live as what you look like, but it's still important to know who you are.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. First of all, I want to apologize because when Ty was reading this, I just knew that that the dad in jail was the black side. I just knew that was about to be the case. So I need to apologize for my ignorance on that. Like, I should be ashamed of myself. And I'm glad it's not the case. But I don't know. I disagree with what you said. Like, the color that you are physically is the color that you're going to be, because my nephew is half black and half white. And he looks whiter than he looks black, but he's going to be a black man. And I'm going to see to it. But it's kind of one of those things. Like,
I'm going to see to it.
The guy's going to see to it too.
I think as far as the father being in prison, I think you really have to get over that, because I feel like you have some issues with that. The fact that you even called him like a jailbird and went into details about how he has no relationship with
that's kid. The God mom. She don't care.
So I just think you got to move. You got to release some of that a little bit. And then also I think you just kind of have conversations of let them know that, you're mixed. Like, daddy's this and mommy's that. And they came together and they made you. Because that's what I do with my nephew all the time. And I feel like he needs to know that I don't look like you. And there's a reason behind that. And this is the reason. And obviously you can't teach this kid how to be black or how to be white or whatever. You just got to teach them how to live life the best way that they can.
Bill, who gonna be up on the black side on the wall if you hanging up pictures on the wall?
Barack Obama.
Black Jesus and Malcolm X.
Yeah, who gonna be on the white side?
Nobody.
Now you guys are so
Tom
racist.
Cruise and Donald Trump.
Tom Cruise and Donald Trump.
Tom Cruise with that middle tooth and Donald Trump.
It ain't even gonna be a picture of Tom Cruise. It's gonna be the Church of Scientology and the Make America Great Again hat.
No, it's gonna be Tom Cruise jumping on Oprah's couch.
All right, let's move to question number 2. Did we even? Yeah, I guess we answered it. There we go.
We kind of did, I guess. Last night I was chilling with my girl, and we started talking about hall passes. I said I would use a pass to sleep with Beyonce. She said she would use a pass to sleep with my cousin.
No,
And I haven't said anything to her all day. Am I overreacting? Hell yeah.
no. See,
I mean, no. That's
you're
a
not
problem.
overreacting. No, not only are you overreacting, you tried it by starting that whole hall pass nonsense, and now
Hold up. So you think he's overreacting?
I think he's not. I would be livid. Are you insane?
Well, see, no. Why would you try it? Like, why?
Because
would
if
you
I
even
name a
try
celebrity,
it?
you know what the hell to do. You follow suit and you name celebrities too. Don't be sitting here trying to name real people, ho. I ain't name no damn real people. What's wrong with you?
Not only
That's
a real
what he
person, but a relative. Like you're gonna see him this weekend at Memorial Day cookout.
I wouldn't even let you name Michael B. Jordan because he frequents Philly to shoot his little stupid movie. So you can't even say him.
Yeah,
Like,
doesn't it?
what's happening?
Yeah.
And they're gonna be at the damn pool party, and you gonna have a cousin out there in a swimsuit
With his sausage out.
No, that relationship is over. She's done.
Good Lord, I don't understand what's wrong with people. Why the hell would you do that?
But you can't let stuff like this go though. Like when she said that you should have asked questions. Why did you say that? What do you mean? Do you feel like that's appropriate? Like you can't just not talk to someone. You got to go off a little bit.
Yeah, I would have went all the way off.
Completely off.
I'm going to address things in the moment. That's who I am as a person.
In the moment, you better believe it.
So I don't let moments pass me by. Like I address things right then and there. So everybody knows I'm
That'll preach.
She said, "You're fine as cousin."
That's ridiculous. That's unacceptable.
Like you need to know which cousin. Like you need to get into details.
Draymond.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay with that. That
You know
relationship
she gave a name. He just didn't want to put it in the letter. That's all that was.
You know it.
He knows the name.
You already slept with your cousin. Like, let's figure this out.
That nigga knows exactly.
And here's the thing. The reason he's so pissed is because she told him that at the wedding she liked the cousin.
You know she did. Nasty.
Oh, nasty.
All right. For any more questions, brotalklive.com/questions. Just a recommendation. Don't tell your significant other that you want to sleep with their cousin. It's not going to work out well. All right, time for just
not unless the cousin is an ex-con that put laxative all in lemonade.
Or if you live in West Virginia and that cousin is your cousin too. I'm sorry for all our viewers from West Virginia. I apologize.
We ain't sorry.
Just a time. All right. Happy birthday, Biggie. Biggie Smalls' birthday was yesterday, actually. Yeah, you didn't remember?
That's a shame. All I know is March 9th.
I think he would have been 46 or something like that today. So,
time to retire, bro.
In honor of him, we're going to play a game called Chris, Christoph, and Christopher. And these are basically the names. So everybody in this category everybody in this game has a name, either Chris, Christoph, or Christopher. I need the first and last name. And we also are going to play a play-in round to see who moves on. So first up, we're going to have Dex versus Ty. First person to answer wins, okay?
Yeah.
You ready? Dex, Ty, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This person busted a dozen potential child molesters during the 3-year run of his show.
Chris Hansen.
Ooh. Ooh, knock, knock. All right.
Catch a predator.
I don't know.
Damn, Dex bar his way.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
All right, so Ty and Bill, let's see what we got here. Ty, you need to get this to stay in the tournament. This Chris instructed people to move, get out the way, and described his fantasy as looking from the head to
Didn't Chris Bridges or something like that?
Oh, you got it, Ty. You got it.
Excuse me, Jeopardy judges. His rap name was Ludacris.
Yeah, I said first and last.
Yeah,
name.
but that's not first and last name.
Ludacris.
All right, and just for fun, let's just do Dex and Will. Responsible for playing both a Nazi and slave abolitionist in films.
Christoph Walker or Wilkins. Christoph
Waltz.
Christoph.
I don't know.
Oh, what'd you say? What'd you say, Dex?
Christoph
Yeah,
Waltz.
that's right. Christoph.
Oh,
Waltz.
he got it. Dang, he stole it from you, Bill.
William
Right from
gave him the answer. That's cheating.
he got it.
Will ain't had the oil.
No,
you
he got
see Dex slide in there with that oil?
No, it wasn't no oil, boy. I gave you the revelation. I'm over here.
Do another
sounding
one.
it out.
William gave him the answer. That's kind of cheating.
Ty, whose side you on?
Thank you.
I'm
All
on
right,
the
so we got. All right, so we got Dex versus Ty.
Wait, Ty's like those people. Ty's like those people that when they get out of the game, the person puts them out no matter what. Like they're against them.
I'm sorry. Actually, we have Ty versus Will. I'm sorry, and the winner will face Dex. So Ty versus Will for the next 4, and then the winner will face Dex for the championship.
Oh, we're still.
Ty, if I lose, I'm your lifeline.
I thought we
All
were
right. Ty versus Will. Here we go. Notorious member of the Bloods gang, not known for making great social decisions.
I know.
I have no idea.
Chris Brown.
Oh, really?
Somebody gotta say it.
Chris Brown.
Ty gets the point. Her question
at the same time.
actually the name would be Briss Brown because
Ooh.
Good day.
I see what you did there.
Chris,
all right,
Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth.
this is between Ty and Will. Dex.
I said it already. Chris Hemsworth.
All right, so Ty,
I didn't know who was between.
You're
That
so
don't even
drunk.
count.
He is so damn drunk. All right, 2 more to go. Ty has a 2-0 lead, by the way.
Wait, lead over who?
2-0 lead over William. Captain America.
I don't remember his last name.
Chris Evans.
Dex, stop!
Chris
Oh,
Evans. Chris Evans.
I'm sorry.
Chris
I
Evans.
said it already.
I said it.
All right,
2
2-1.
1. Give me the 1.
I said Chris Evans first.
No,
Shut up.
2-1,
No, you didn't.
2-1.
Shut up.
How are you going to give it to William? I said Cliff said it first. Play the tapes back.
I didn't hear it.
It doesn't matter what you heard. I said
We're
it
gonna make
first.
it interesting.
It's
All right,
okay.
we're gonna make it
You
interesting.
up too. Relax.
Giving William a point doesn't make it interesting.
Bill, I mean,
It does.
Ty, if you get this next one, you win. So it's just
And
Go
you
ahead.
know he gonna get the next one because
Star Lord.
I have no idea who that is.
I know.
Chris.
Tell me that.
Ty.
Say
Wait.
it.
I'm trying to whisper.
Chris.
It begins with a P.
That doesn't do anything. Perry?
Begins with Saul.
What? I'm sorry to hear that.
Begins with a P, 4 letters, end with SOL.
Well, you can take
You
that.
clean with it. You clean with it,
What?
and it smells good in the forest.
Pine Saw.
So
Chris
last
Pine
name-
Saw.
It's really
His
Chris
name is
Pine.
Chris
Well, not
Pine.
Saul,
Chris
it's just-
Pine.
Actually, you're both wrong. That's actually Chris Pratt. That's the other one.
Chris Pratt.
Look at me giving you all these stupid definitions that don't make sense.
All right, so
I
Ty
can't
wins
take it.
2-1. Ty wins
Clearly
2-1.
he
All right, so
wins.
now it's going to be Ty versus Dex. So here we go.
Ty,
Ty
I'm your
versus
lifeline,
Dex.
Ty. I'm your lifeline.
First person to 3 gets it. Here we go. Captain Kirk.
No, you can kick that, Dax. No idea.
Dex, this is the one you just said.
Oh, Chris Pratt. Chris Pine.
There we go. Chris
Yeah,
Pine.
that's Chris Pine.
All right, next up, point guard for the Houston Rockets.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul?
Oh, shit.
All right, Ty, 1-1. Here we go.
Let's go.
All right. Voted the 5th best comedian of all
Chris
time.
Rock.
Oh, 2-time Academy Award winner. Dex got it. Chris Rock. Snap. Dex is up 2-1. Here we go. Changed the course of human history by being a narcissistic murderer in what he thought was India.
Christopher Columbus.
Good job.
Bingo.
And last but not least, director of the great Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Inception. Christopher.
It's Christopher. Not Christopher Walken.
Christopher
Begins
Mullen?
with-
Johnson.
Oh, he was close. Christopher begins with an N.
Nolan.
There we go. Ty won. Did Ty come back?
Let's go. Ah.
Oh, Ty came back and win. It's all appropriate because you probably are the biggest Biggie Smalls fan here. So congrats, Ty. You won the Biggie game.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Biggie.
What do I win?
Ty, do you have a Biggie?
Plus-
What's your favorite Biggie line?
It's inappropriate.
All of them.
No, just tell me. Come on, I just want to know. Just give me one. Come on. What is your favorite one? You can bleep it out.
Yeah, Todd, edit the lyrics to make
He
it
thinking
flow.
of he thinking of a backup. I know what it was. It's when I die. F it. I want to go to hell because I'm a piece
Really?
of. It ain't hard to F and tell. That's yours.
No, I hate I do want to go to heaven with the goodies.
Dex, what's your favorite Biggie line?
I don't really know anything. Oh, my favorite Biggie line is what is it when he's like, no heat, wonder why Christmas missed us. Birthdays was the worst days. Now we sip champagne when we're thirsty. Like that whole like
butchery. Move on.
No heat, wonder why Christmas missed us. All of that.
All right. Speaking of missing us, it's time for Dex's BS report.
Okay, I have a couple stories for you guys today. So there was a porn star, a black male porn star, who was actually suing his white coworker because during filming, she continued to call him the N-word. She kept calling for his N-word penis, and she kept calling for the N-word to do her harder. And he's now suing her because he has begged and pleaded her to stop saying that word, but she did not stop. When asked why wouldn't you stop it, she said, I was in the moment and I just felt like that was the only word that applied. R. Kelly believes that it is actually too late for us to mute him. He said, you guys should have done that shit 30 years ago.
What a take.
Sexual educator Deanne Carson.
That was it. That was. Oh, that was the BS report.
I don't think he really said that. Sexual educator Deanna Carson, she said that parents should be talking to their children and asking them for permission before changing their diapers. Children should not be stripped and touched or whatever without getting their permission. So like Jason, you just had a baby, so you need to start having conversations with her before you take her clothes off and touch her body, because that is a little inappropriate. So
how's she gonna give me permission?
I think it's up to you to figure that out. Because
I figured it out. She gave me permission.
Okay, well, like according to Diana, you might be.
She cried when her ass was dirty. She gave him permission to change it.
Diana can go to hell. That's what Diana.
And then finally,
Diana ain't got no damn kids.
And then Deanna, her name is. And finally, a Frontier airline. So a deaf couple rode the airplane recently, and they had their service dog with them. A man got really upset and he said, like, I really don't think you guys should have had that dog on here the entire flight. My wife has allergies and she was very allergic to your dog. The deaf couple, tried to let the guy know that, this is because we need it. Flight attendants didn't get involved and they were like, look, these people, they're deaf. Like, they can't even really communicate with you. Like, this is a service dog. The guy got so upset that no one was paying attention to him. So he punched the service dog multiple times in the face. This upset the deaf couple. So the man began to argue with the two men began to argue with each other. When they got off of the plane, the man, not the deaf man, the other guy, he punched the pregnant woman, the 5-month-old pregnant woman, in the stomach. Authorities were alerted. The man was arrested. The deaf couple was not arrested, and the baby is okay. And that has been Dex's BS report. Oh, and the service dog is okay. And that has been Dex's BS report for the week.
That's crazy. That's a crazy Dex's BS report. All right, time for seats, right? Bill's not here. He said he would be back. His phone died. It's time for seats. Dex, do you want to take it away since you're a pro?
Oh, yeah. All right. So this is the segment of the show where we give out seats. So this is the part of the show where somebody pissed you off, somebody upset you, let us know, and we can give them a seat. And this is what we do in this part of the show right here. I actually don't have a seat for this week because my seat was going to go to Kendrick Lamar. But I do have a Bro Talk viewer sent us in a very lengthy seat that I'll read for you guys really quickly. So they said, last week, I was on a 10-hour flight from New York to Ghana. Come on now. When this lady decides it was time to tell her homegirl, who happened to be sitting in the row next to me, her life story, loud as hell at 2 a.m. Homegirl annoyed me too. Had her nasty ass feet out twirling the entire flight, constantly telling me how cold she was and then asking me about my meal choices. Sis, I'm trying to watch Black Panther for the 4th time. You better back that up. Anyway, the annoying woman decides that she was going to change her seat when the flight attendants left out of our area because there was an empty seat in one section, a row over from ours, close to her homegirl. This hoe talked about her love life or lack thereof, her hate for white people, Christianity, a fake white man religion, and the incident that she has to call 9/11. There wasn't a whisper. It wasn't a whisper. It was loud as AF. Her ass even got out of her seat and basically standing in front of me yelling about nonsense. By the time she sat down, the attendants turned the lights on for a damn pre-landing snack. When the lights came back on, everybody was staring at her in so much anger. We should actually be seated for telling her the truth. We should actually be seated for not telling her to shut the F up. If this ever happens again, I'm putting on my white lady hat and telling management. I actually may write Delta. And then they said they want to find out who the Delta employees are. So that is a seat from a viewer. If you guys have seats, let us know, and we can give these seats out for you.
All right, cool. My seat's going to go to the lovely people over at Travelodge. As we all know, my 30th birthday was last week, and I had family flying in, and my grandparents flew in from Baltimore. So if you guys don't know, I live in LA. So they flew in, not a place to stay. Well, they stayed with my in-laws for a week, and then they got their own place. So they're at a hotel right now. They were going to stay at a Travelodge, but because Travelodge are some idiots, we decided to stay someplace else. So we go to the Travelodge, and we attempt to pay, and the person decides to swipe the card. It says cards declined. So it tells us to contact our bank. So we contact the bank. The bank tells us that it's basically on the vendor side and that they could try to force it through. They gave it a try. It would not go through. So they basically said, contact the vendor, let the vendor know that, it's not going through. And maybe it's something on their end that they're holding up. So we go back and try to communicate this to the dumbass girl in the front of the Travelodge who has a job as a receptionist. And she decided to let us know that there's nothing wrong with their systems because she has booked about 12 reservations earlier that day. And when she said that, she decided to pick up the pile of papers that she had in her hands and fan it in my face. While what'd you say, Ty?
You punch her?
Everything inside of me not to. So she just kept repeating, there's nothing wrong with our systems. I don't understand what's wrong. You need to call the bank again because there's nothing wrong with our system. So instead of investigating the issue and escalating it to someone who probably would know if there was a problem or not, someone with some actual power, not a receptionist at Travelodge, she decided to just act like that there was nothing wrong and that we just didn't have any money. So as we were leaving, she was still talking. I didn't understand what she was saying. I just heard chatter in my ear as I was leaving. Because I was telling my grandparents that I had never dealt with something like this, and I've stayed at dozens and dozens of hotels over my life. Different brands, Wyndham, Travelodge is owned by Wyndham Hotels. So I was like, is this just like a Wyndham thing? And she was like, no, there's no problems with our system. So as we were leaving, she was talking some smack still, and I was telling my grandparents that I'd never seen anything like this, and she was still talking in my ear. And I said, ma'am, I'm not speaking to you. Have a nice day. And I slammed the door in her face, and we left. So we went across the street to another Wyndham-owned hotel called Super 8. And we went there, swiped the card through, everything went fine. And it took literally everything inside of me not to go back to that Travelodge and tell her that, girl, it worked across the street. So check your systems, ho. But I did not. I did call customer service, and I left a nasty, nasty Yelp review.
You need to tweet them, too.
I should tweet them. So yeah, my seat goes out to that young lady that works at the front receptionist desk at Travelodge yesterday at around 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's that. Ty, do you have a seat?
I do. It's brief. So for those of you who don't know, I'm not entertained by it, I guess, but I like to show up to IEP meetings.
IEP meetings.
For students with disabilities.
Okay, learning disabilities?
Learning
disabilities?
All types.
Or physical?
Okay. Emotional learning, doesn't matter. If I know you and you're like, I've been dealing with the school and I'm not able to get what I need to do, and you need someone to help you, I will come to your IEP meeting 9 times out of 10 and basically show my ass in that meeting to make sure things get done. And so today, someone tried to play my own game on me by showing up with all these people. And I said, this is my game and I'm going to win it. So these advocates and all those people in that meeting tried to demand all these ridiculous things. And I just sat in the meeting telling them, no, we weren't going to do that. and I moved on. I said, this is my game and I'm going to win it. So I just thought it was funny. Like, I do this to people, and now someone tried to do it to me, but it didn't work. because this is my game.
Amen. All right, cool. Bill is out for the count.
I'll give a seat for him too, since he's not here.
Okay.
There's a person, I don't know how real this is, that tweeted that Father's Day was offensive to same-sex couples and women. And so like that became like a conversation that people were actually having. And I'm seeing that person, if that's even actually a real tweet. I didn't investigate it because it was so stupid, but I kept seeing it show up. So that's stupid.
So I don't understand how, like, what's wrong with being called a father?
It's offensive to same-sex couples and women.
Why? Why can't they just celebrate Mother's Day?
No, wait, we didn't say it. They said it.
I don't know. I'm seating them. I'm on your side, Jason.
But what do you call like what's the day for like the people who are gender neutral? Like if you don't identify as a man or a woman, like what's your day?
You make up one.
Okay.
2018, we making up everything.
Yeah, I just make one up. Tweet it. Let us know what it is.
I actually do have a seat, though. I do want to give a seat really quick to Sydney Gilstrap Portley, also known as Rashawn Richardson. So what Rashawn Richardson did was he's 25 years old, so he went to a high school and posed as a high school student. So
that was so stupid.
So that he could relive like his basketball career. He wanted to play basketball again. So he basically said that, I'm a Hurricane Katrina victim. Hurricane Harvey victim. I was displaced from my family. Like, I just want to come here and enroll in high school. So he's enrolled in high school. He's playing basketball and dating a 14-year-old girl. And eventually they called him. And so, like, it's never that serious. Go to college. Get a job. Get your life together. Go home and pay your rent or something.
That's a story, and just a little information for those people who said, well, that was dumb. My school let him in. There's actually a law that says that you have to let homeless people in school until you figure out what's going on. So although the school would have to investigate, like they technically are legally obligated to let that person in school until they can prove otherwise.
And also people aren't 25 years old going back to high school. So like I wouldn't expect the school to assume that this person's 25 years old because that's not normal. It's stupid.
Yeah,
I said that word 7 times today. So like if you were drinking every time I said the word stupid, don't drive home.
All right, cool. Don't forget like, subscribe, tell a friend, and comment on the show. Don't forget podcast drops tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that as well. This has been another edition of Bro Talk Live. Do you guys have any special announcements to make for the audience?
Just that if you guys love podcasts, like I have been named an official contributor of Patty and the Millennials on WDAS Radio.
Oh, you're Reg.
So like if you guys are listening to podcasts, like definitely check that one out. I'm the only guy on there, so they beat me up sometimes, but it's so fun. Like it's great conversation with millennials and Gen Xers. So if you guys are available, definitely tune in.
Oh, definitely. We'll be listening to that.
Todd, do you have anything to say?
I don't have any announcements, but we do appreciate your support. And they've been rocking with us for a while. I was just thinking about that. I watched an episode of Bro Talk from like, I don't know. My screen was really dark, and I was in like a really old apartment from way back in the day. I'm people have been rocking with us for a long time, so we appreciate that.
VV Long, we really appreciate it. All right, thanks, Will, for contributing to the show for a little bit. And
he had to run off and do official political stuff.
Okay,
he's a politician now, and he had to handle business.
Like I said, BroTalkLive.com for everything you need. Also at Bro Talk Live on all the social handles. For Dex, for Ty, for Bill, my name is Jason. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next week on another edition of Bro Talk.